Welcome everyone to my Bedroom Basics video series here on Facebook. My name is Anaka Foster and I am a registered psychologist as well as a certified Imago relationship therapist. What that means is I've done extra training after my schooling and counseling to specialize in working with couples. So, Imago therapy is a wonderful way to help couples get through the work they need to do so they can stay connected with each other. And I found it super effective. And I've been working with it since 2007 exclusively with the couples I work with. So it's been quite a few years, and I've really found it's been super helpful. And one of the things I found over the years of working with my couples is there seems to be a lack in knowledge in just bedroom stuff in general, especially in a community where people are Christian or members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, also known as Mormons. We tend to be raised in an environment where sex is really not talked about a lot. And there seems to be just a big gap in what's missing there. So what I really want to do is take this opportunity to do some short little videos and might be able to do some clips. Hi, Chelsea. And just be able to talk about some bedroom stuff that we are missing out on. And there seems to be a lot of taboo around. So the very first part that I want to address is that of consent. And this might sound weird coming from, couples who are married or have been together for a really long time because you think, oh, they're married, obviously they consent to sleeping with each other. And that is not always the case because of drive differences and personality differences and just being tired or busy, whatever. Sometimes we don't have the same idea of consent. So what I do is start out with showing a really cute little video, animated stick men. It's called Consent is Like a Cup of Tea. So give me one sec and let me just turn that on for you. So I'll have to show it on my other video here, just because I can't run it at the same time as you guys are watching me.
If you're still struggling with consent, just imagine instead of initiating sex, you're making them a cup of tea. You say, hey, would you like a cup of tea? They go, oh my God, I would love a cup of tea. Thank you. Then you know they want a cup of tea. If you say, hey, would you like a cup of tea? And they're like, I'm not really sure. Then you can make them a cup of tea or not, but be aware they might not drink it. And if they don't drink it, then, and this is the important part, don't make them drink it.
Don't make them drink the tea.
It doesn't mean you are entitled to watch them drink it. And if they say no, thank you, then don't make them tea at all. Just don't make them tea. Don't make them drink tea. Don't get annoyed at them for not wanting tea. They just don't want tea, okay? They might say, yes, please. That's kind of you. And then when the tea arrives, they actually don't want the tea at all. Sure, that's kind of annoying as you've gone to all the effort of making the tea. But they remain under no obligation to drink the tea. They did want tea, now they don't. Some people change their mind in the time that it takes to boil the kettle, brew the tea, and add the milk. And it's okay for people to change their mind. And you are still not entitled to watch them drink it. And if they're unconscious, don't make them tea. Unconscious people don't want tea.
I love that. Unconscious people don't want tea.
Do you want tea? Because they're unconscious. Okay, maybe they were conscious when you asked them if they wanted tea. And they said yes. But in the time it took you to boil the kettle, brew the tea, and add the milk, they are now unconscious. You should just put the tea down. Make sure the unconscious person is safe. And this is the important part again. Don't make them drink the tea. They said yes then, sure, but unconscious people don't want tea.
So true.
If someone said yes to tea, started drinking it, and then passed out before they finished it, don't keep on pouring it down their throat. Take the tea away.
I love that.
Safe, because unconscious people don't want tea.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me on this. If someone said yes to tea around your house last Saturday, that doesn't mean they want you to make them tea all the time. They don't want you to come around to their place unexpectedly and make them tea and force them to drink it going, but you wanted tea last week. Or to wake up to find you pouring tea down their throat going, but you wanted tea last night. But if you can understand how completely ludicrous it is to force people to have tea when they don't want tea, and you're able to understand when people don't want tea, then how hard is it to understand it when it comes to sex? whether it's tea or sex, consent is everything. And on that note, I'm going to go make my...
Okay, so I'm not sure if you're able to hear the video. I hope you were able to hear it, but I'll just recap a little bit. The basic idea is, if you can understand the idea that if you ask someone for tea and they say yes, and then by the time you brew the kettle and get it all ready and bring it to them, if they're too tired or don't feel like it, you don't pour it down their throat. You don't throw it at them. You don't splash it all over them. You just don't give them any tea. Really, the same thing has to do with sex, right? If someone says, yeah, I think I'm interested, and then, 10, 15 minutes later, they decide, yeah, actually, maybe I'm not. You don't force them to have sex. You don't force them to sleep with you. You don't force them to cuddle with you or kiss you or whatever it is that you were asking about in a sexual way. It's just a no. And this is a really big deal, even in married couples. And like I said, you wouldn't think it is, but it is. I've worked with couples where this is definitely a big deal, where, one who has really high drive doesn't really know what to do with their partner who has low drive. And so this becomes an issue over and over. So that was the next thing I wanted to really address here is generally the person who needs consent is the one who has what we call high drive or high testosterone, because they're the ones who are more likely to want to be sexual or be intimate with their partner because they have high drive, which means they have just a high need that needs to be filled. The person with the low drive, on the other hand, if they say no every time, it leaves their partner in a bit of a lurch. So the challenge in this is really finding that balance. And so that's kind of what I wanted to discuss here is how do you find that balance? Now, it's not really fair for the person with high drive to expect to do something every day or whenever they feel like it. And it's not quite fair for the low drive person to say no every day or they never feel like it either. So where's the mix, right? So what I want to do, I'm just going to do some writing on the board and hopefully you guys can kind of see and hear as I'm doing this. So if you're really wondering if you're a high or a low drive person, here's just some little simple signs. So first of all, the high drive person, they dream about sex. They think about it. They crave it. And they sometimes, get grumpy without. Okay? So if you're wondering, gee, why is my partner so grumpy? It's been such a bad week and, we've been so busy and we've hardly seen each other and, he's so grumpy all the time. Maybe ask yourself, is it possible that we haven't had sex for a while? And hi. And sometimes it's as simple as that. Now, the low drive person in this scenario, they are pretty much the opposite, right? They don't dream about it, at least not very often. They hardly think about it. They certainly, it's not on their mind, and it really doesn't matter, for the most part, whether they have it or not. And that's why the person in the relationship who has the lower drive, which tends to be females because we don't have testosterone as our dominant hormone, we tend to just not think about it. We get busy with kids or with work or with house cleaning or taking care of other people, whatever, and that it just doesn't seem to cross our mind all the time. Whereas our poor husbands who have high drive or high testosterone, they're sitting there working hard all day, thinking about it while they're working, especially if they work by themselves, going, oh, I can't wait till tonight. Oh, it'll be so nice to come home and have sex. Oh, I've worked so hard, I should be rewarded with sex, and on and on and on. And so while they're thinking about it all night and all day, and they're dreaming about it all night, and they're craving it, and they're looking forward to it, and they want that validation, you can imagine that they would get pretty disappointed and grumpy if it doesn't happen, right? Especially if day after day after day, it still doesn't happen. So I've met with couples over the years who have gotten to a really, really low frequency in their relationship where their intimate connection in a physical or sexual level has really, really dropped off to where, maybe they're not even doing something once a month together, which is huge. I mean, that's a really big deal if, once a month is, their sort of their minimum that they're at. And it's just not enough. So one thing that I've found over the years of working with couples and being married for a long time as well, and is that there needs to be a minimum frequency as well as sort of a healthier frequency. So a minimum frequency, don't be super shocked by this, is once a week. Now, I know there's probably some people who think, oh my goodness, once a week, oh, what a chore, that's so hard. And some people go, oh, once a week, oh, that's not enough. And so, it really depends, again, on your drive and your communication with your partner. So really, the once a week is kind of the bare minimum that makes it sort of doable for a husband or wife who has higher drive and really has this need. And when they don't have it filled, they tend to get, grumpy, and they don't want to help out, and sometimes they get mean, and sometimes they're in pain and really uncomfortable.